the newest Arcane journal for the overworld has just dropped, and it is the Razing of Westerland. This one is fantastic. Okay, so inside this, we have a bunch of new lore to read. That's fantastic. That's great. We have new add-on rules for the Warriors of Chaos, including replacement rules for Marauders and Marauder Horsemen. We have phoned-in Path to Glory rules, and magic items available to everybody. So we have an Arcane journal with something for everybody in this one. The art and the read of this book is probably worth the price alone. This was interesting to read about the Marauder tribe cults. I did scour all the pages looking for like hidden models that might be coming out. I didn't see anything new that we haven't already been teased. This piece of terrain I don't recognize. It's definitely some sort of conversion, but when you get your book, if you notice a model or unit hidden somewhere in the background, please point it out. I'm going to start this review off with the bottom of the barrel, the worst part about the book. It's the Path to Glory campaign. It's not like Path to Glory of old. It's very phoned in. It's very, like, this is it. That's it. That's all the Path to Glory rules there are. I'll let you pause the screen and read it if you really want to. I'm not going to go over it all, but it really wants there to be a campaign games master in it. It's like a store running a little mini campaign, like a slow grow. I just feel like it's just not like the Path to Glory we had 15 years ago. I don't think it was really play tested. I strongly suspect if you were to play this Path to Glory, your units will lose more experience than they actually gain. A very minimal but playable Path to Glory if you want to play it. There are a small handful of missions that are played at the 500 point to 750 point level, meant for Battle March. They have been historically pretty fun for me to play, and I'm happy to try these kind of reenactments, but special missions. The Chaos Marauders from the Ravening Hordes book has been updated with new Chaos Marauder rules inside this Arcane journal. Now, they are technically buffed across the board. Now, first of all, notice the points are still the same, but they come with light armor for free. Otherwise, their equipment remains pretty much the same. Their champions may now take 25 points worth of magic items where before they couldn't, and they can have 50 points worth of magic standards where before they couldn't have anything, and they gain the Horde special rule. Now, they are going to lose the Mark of Khorne, Nurgle, Slaanesh, and Tzeentch, but they can upgrade to a chaotic cult instead. The Bloodied Hound, very Cornish, right? The Carrion Crow, kind of feels like Nurgle. The Slithering Serpent, that feels very Slaanesh. Or the Fell Raptor, maybe a Tzeentch cult. So we have free light armor, free Horde, magic items that we couldn't take before. Kind of a buff, other than the fact that they're on 30mm bases now instead of 25mm bases. That is practically kind of a nerf, but otherwise I think they're gaining more than they're losing here. Now we're going to have to go over what all these cults mean, but first let's take a look at the Chaos Marauder Horsemen. The Marauder Horsemen have a very similar treatment, same 12 points, but this time they get shields for free, because they already had light armor. So just like the Marauders, they're getting 1 point worth of armor for free. Otherwise, very similar. They lose the Marks of Khorne, Nurgle, Slaanesh, and Tzeentch and gain access to the chaotic cults. Their champions may take 25 points worth of magic items and 50 points worth of magic banners. Now, they do lose skirmish, but 1 unit per 1,000 may have skirmish instead of every unit having skirmish previously. Kind of a sideways buff there, because I don't think I brought that many in the past personally, but at least they can still take skirmish. Now, one thing that I'm not overly fond of is you may no longer take javelins. It isn't an upgrade that I have used numerous times myself. Instead, they get access to throwing spears. It's just a weapon I'm just never, ever going to take on a light cav unit. So I'd rather have flails or cavalry spears and throwing axes, but no longer can you take javelins. That's okay, because we get shields for free. And at this point, I want to let you know that right now there's a video where Dale and I play this new Arcane journal. I play some Marauders, actually Berserkers and Huskars. My whole core will be Toughness 5. Stay tuned for later in the video as I explain how you do that. This video is up right now for the members in the members only section. You can watch this video right now as we play 2,000 points of the new Marauder rules that are crazy good, I think, against some orcs and goblins in the Nomadic Law. Check out the channel. The members only section, handheld class style battle reports, review videos like this. Though, if you don't watch this video, keep in mind that next week, Wednesday and Thursday, 5:30 Eastern time, Luke and I will be, not Dale, but Luke and I will be on stream live, where we play 2 live battle reports with these new rules. So new battle reports for this new Arcane Journals real soon as well. All models that represent members of the Marauder tribes have a Mark of Chaos Undivided listed amongst their special rules as described on page 82 of Ravening Hordes. Of those, some have the option to replace the Mark of Chaos Undivided with the Mark specific Chaos God, have the option to belong to a chaotic cult. A model cannot belong to more than one chaotic cult. A character with a mark of chaos can join a unit belonging to any chaotic cult as normal. Praising the gods. Once per game, during the command subphase of their turn, a unit belonging to a chaotic cult may implore its patron for the blessing by making a leadership test. If this test is passed until their next start of turn subphase, all chaotic cult models within the unit gain the following benefit. If the test is failed, you get nothing. Okay, so if you're part of the Bloodied Hound, +1 weapon skill. Carrion Crow, +1 toughness. Slithering Serpent, poison attacks. Fell Raptor, 6+ ward save. So instead of our old chaos marks, once per game, we may make a leadership check and gain a buff until the start of the next starter turn subphase. So this is a massive nerf to what they used to have. Don't worry, good stuff's coming, guys. At least it's not unmodified leadership, so you can warband, horde, get probably leadership 10 relatively easily to make sure you gain your buff. But paying 1 point per model, like a unit of infantry that we run like 24, 30 models of dudes, you're paying 24 to 30 points for a squad to do a leadership check to maybe get a buff for 1 turn. And 3 out of 4 of them are not good at all. Like, okay, let's talk about the Bloodied Hound. +1 weapon skill for 1 turn. It's the +1 weapon skill on a weapon skill 4 model is already hyper situational. So if they're fighting somebody else with weapon skill 5, they're gonna get hit on 4s instead of 3s. If these Marauders are fighting goblins, they can hit goblins on 2s. They're not gonna struggle against goblins. So the situational +1 weapon skill, like I said, it's ultra situational, whether that's gonna be worth the points. Poison for the Slithering Serpent, the poison got nerfed into the ground. If it was old poison, this wouldn't be bad. But the fact that they don't really have range attacks, like you can have like throwing axes on Marauder Horsemen. So 1 turn of poison throwing axes might not be terrible, but poison got nerfed from the ground because other units abusing it or other magic items abusing it. So that's not really worth 1 point per model. 6-up ward save against non-magical attacks, it's probably not bad for, do a leadership check, get it one turn, 1 battle round, really. But the Cult of Carrion Crow, +1 toughness, turning +1 toughness on for a turn, that's not terrible. This is the only one I think worth taking. In fact, this one's kind of good. Just do a leadership check. Your opponent can't interact with it, can't turn it off. Your Marauders go to toughness 4 for a turn. Not terrible. Now, if there's a way to further improve their toughness, spoilers, there are. That could be really good. So Cult of the Carrion Crow, you're going to see a lot of, I believe. The other 3, I can't find a combo that is interesting or even worth the points. Now, narratively speaking, I like this writing. To be able to have not full chaotic buffs from the Marks of the Chaos Gods, but kind of like a minor corn buff, a +1 weapon skill for a turn. Like, this is the way I want the rules writing to go. It's just that in practical terms, 3 out of 4 of these aren't going to see any play. The buffs are too minor or too situational to come into play too often. But that +1 toughness for a turn, that's pretty good. That's worth all day long, I think. And the Warriors of Chaos get access to brand new lore, the lore of the Shadowlands. I dig it. So our signature spell, the Maelstrom of Chaos, is a magic missile with a casting value of only 7. Dig that, it's nice and cheap. Range 15, it's a 3-inch blast. It does scatter D3 + 1 inches, but anybody hit does take a strength 4 AP 3 hit. I love that. It's relatively easy to get off. Range isn't terrible. It will scatter, but you just can roll direct hit, you'll be fine. And it'll do massive damage to enemy units. I really love this for a signature spell. A signature spell for me can really make or break a lore, obviously. So yeah, I already like the lore because of the signature spell. Spell number 1, the Blackened Bolt, is another magic missile with a casting value of 8 and a range of 18. It does 2d6 strength 3 hits with AP 1. And if you suffer any wounds, you take a panic test. I like that. I'm okay with using that. We got Veil of Gloom. It's an enchantment of range of 15, casting value 9. Until your next starter turn subphase, the target friendly unit gains a 4+ ward save against wounds suffered or caused by a template, or 5+ ward save against any wounds suffered in the shooting phase. I'll use that. It's not the spell I'm going to aim for in the lore, but if I get it, I'll cast that. Vortex of Darkness is a vortex with a range 15. We have Remains in Place, Small Blast, placed within 15 inches, obviously. It's free like difficult terrain, scatters D6 inches at the start of every starter turn subphase. Anybody hit by it takes 3d6 strength 2 hits with no armor saves allowed. Ward and regen can be attempted as normal. In a Marauder heavy army, where you're not really playing with a whole lot of armor on your side of the table, maybe you're playing against Bretonnians, this is a good spell to throw off against them. Now, Vortices, they're, post Pillar of Fire nerf, haven't been fantastic. In fact, I've barely seen a Vortex on the table in months. However, this one, if I get it, I'm happy to cast it, especially against an armored opponent. Shadowed Assailant is an assailant with a casting value 8. 3d6 strength 1 hits, no armor or regen permitted. You may take ward saves. So it's kind of like a mini Viletide from the Beastman, but it's an assailant. So 3d6 strength 1 hits, no armor, no regen. That can turn the tides of a combat. Not terrible, but my big problem with assailants is every time I'm in combat, I forget to cast them. Crawling Mist. It's a conveyance with the casting value 6 or 9. It's range self. Spell is cast. The casting vault of 6 or more. A single friendly unit within 6 of the caster gains reserve move special rule. If the casting result is 9 or more, every friendly unit within 6 of the caster gains reserve move rule. This lasts till the end of the turn. This spell is it has no synergy within the Warriors of Chaos. Nothing, well, I was gonna say nothing wants to move. I guess you can take Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, and the reserve move will be useful on them. But otherwise, you're everything that you want to move fast is going to march anyway with Warriors of Chaos. So I really see this as the wizard giving itself a reserve move. So not a terrible spell, but not the spell you're rolling into this lore for. And then Chains of Darkness. Until your next starter turn subphase, enemy unit suffers -1 to its movement and leadership. Range 18, 8 to cast. Casting value is low, range is high. Two nerfs. You can stay just outside of somebody's charge range. -1 leadership, maybe stack with some other spells from Necromancy. I guess you can only do that with Warriors of Chaos, but nerfing leadership and movement is pretty good. Is this a wowie zowie lore? No, there's nothing like, oh my god, this is game breaking here. But I'm happy to use most of these spells. So I'm gonna say I like this lore. No, I've decided I really like this lore. The hardest spell to cast is the Vortex of Darkness. Everything else has a reasonable casting value, and I love the signature. I actually like that signature more than I like the Demonology signature spell, where it does 2d6 strength 4 AP1 hits. The strength 4 AP3 small blast could get a lot of work done in a post 1.5 Warhammer the Old World. That being said, Demonology is still probably the better lore for Warriors of Chaos, but I'm going to have a lot of fun with this one. All right, let's talk about some things that are going to get abused. I know, I'm going to abuse them. Okay, so we have Chaotic Traits, a new way of buffing Warriors of Chaos. I don't like the old Marks of Chaos, but better? Which you still have access to for most of your models. So, okay, using Chaotic Traits. Characters, Chaos Lords, Sorcerer Lords may purchase up to 2 Chaotic Traits. Exalted Champions, Aspiring Champions, Exalted Sorcerers, and the Marauder Tribe Chieftains may purchase a single Chaotic Trait. Warriors and Knights, so Chaos Warriors, Chaos Knights may purchase a single Chaotic Trait. Chosen Warriors and Chosen Knights may purchase up to 2 Chaotic Traits. Chaos Marauders, Marauder Horsemen, and Marauder Tribe Berserkers may all purchase a single Chaotic Trait. Marauder Hushskarls may purchase up to 2 Chaotic Traits. Now, okay, these are buffs. You buy, 20 points per model, 2 points per miniature in a unit, stuff like that, that increase the power of your unit. Now, let's talk about the very first one, Unnatural Fortitude. For 20 points or 2 points per model in a unit, unless wearing heavy armor or full plate armor, models with this chaotic trait improve their toughness characteristic by 1. Okay, across the board, your Marauders can be toughness 4 now, and once per game, toughness 5. 2 points per model. 3 points for toughness 5 once per game, because it's 2 points for Unnatural Fortitude, 1 point for the Chaotic Cult. The Carrion Crow, once per game, your toughness 5. Otherwise, your toughness 4 now. You're an orc that gets toughness 5 once per turn, or once per game. Oh no, it gets way better than that, though. Marauder Hushskarls and Marauder Berserkers can take these, and their toughness 4 base. You can now play Wolves of the Sea Army, where your entire army is toughness 5. They can't get access to the chaotic cults, but they can take these chaotic traits. Marauder Berserkers, core in Wolves of the Sea army, toughness 4 base. Now 2 points per model. They're 8 points, toughness 4, 10 points per model, toughness 5. Toughness 5, core infantry for the Wolves of the Sea. Let's take some Huskarls. Huskarls can have heavy armor, but don't buy them heavy armor. Keep them with their light armor. And now they're toughness 5 cavalry with Furious Charge. Unnatural Fortitude, plus 2 points per model. Toughness 5 on your Huskarls and Berserkers. I can't get past this. Everything else is lackluster in comparison, even though you're not terrible. Now, Huskarls can, take that toughness 5 and something else, but... Alright, let's just quickly go through the rest, because all we care about is toughness 5 core Berserkers and toughness 5 Huskarls, but anyways. Dark Hearts. Characters... 20 points, 1 point per model in a unit. Models with the infantry or cavalry only. If they're on the winning side of combat, it includes one or more models with the majority with this chaotic trait. It's like having terror. So if you have Dark Hearts, and the majority of your models have Dark Hearts, and you win combat, your opponent takes their break check at -1 leadership. Similar to as if your unit had terror. Now, the great thing is it kind of stacks with terror. So you can have Dark Hearts and terror and give your enemy -2 leadership for the purposes of their break test. Now, if the enemy has this trait, maybe you're fighting other Warriors of Chaos, or if your enemy is immune to psychology or it causes terror, it is unaffected by Dark Hearts. So that's a decent upgrade. Long Striders, 15 points for characters, 1 point per model per unit, up to 1 unit per 1,000 points may have this. I feel like the Unnatural Fortitude should have some sort of restriction. But anyways, they gain Vanguard. So you can buy Vanguard for a unit and characters. And the great thing, too, is you can actually put Vanguard on your characters to join those Vanguard units. I think there's some value there. Enhanced Reflexes. I like this one a lot, too. Not Unnatural Fortitude, but I like this one. So 10 points for characters, 1 point per unit. If you're using your hand weapon, that includes your ensorcelled weapons, your +2 initiative. A Warrior of Chaos with heavy armor and shield. Has 3-up armor in combat, is strength 4 with AP 1, initiative 6. They're initiative 4 base. So most things charging Warriors of Chaos with this upgrade quite the same initiative of them. 1 point per model to be initiative 6 with your ensorcelled weapon. Now, it doesn't work with other weapons. It's only for hand weapons. There's probably some play there. We have a Battle Hunger, 10 points for a character, 20 points per unit. So this is not paid per model, so it's a 20-point upgrade per unit. It can be infantry only. Increases your maximum charge range by 2, declarable charge range by 2. And when making a charge or pursuit roll, add a D3 modifier to the result. That's amazing. That's so good. It's infantry only, so I would love it on Huskarls or other Cav, but having a mini Swift Stride, which is probably one of the most powerful rules in the game, having a mini Swift Stride on your infantry, solid. All right, Brazen Will, 10 points for character, 15 points per unit. This is kind of an auto-include if you haven't upgraded anything else. MR1, or 15 points per unit. Now, I don't know, do I rather have Long Strider or Battle Hunger or Unnatural Fortitude? But paying 15 points for MR1 is pretty awesome. But it's not Unnatural Fortitude. I'm sorry, guys, we're not gonna get past that. Sorry, this Unnatural Fortitude thing is gonna cause ripples in the community. We're gonna hear about this for a while. Prophetic Foresight, 10 point for character, 10 points for a unit. You can't deploy within 18 of them for scouts, and you can't ambush within 12 instead of 8. So they can see the future a little bit. Again, not bad, but like the great thing here is none of these are bad. If only Prophetic Foresight existed, I would pay 10 points per unit to use that. But because Brazen Will is 15 points per unit, I will use that instead. But Battle Hunger is really cool. I'll use that maybe even instead of Brazen Will. Enhanced Reflexes on Warriors of Chaos, that's pretty good. I'll use that. Vanguard Long Striders, I like that. Like, these are all usable. Unnatural Fortitude might be a mistake. It's a mistake, right? Having an army with toughness 5 core infantry, toughness 5 cavalry running around the field. Granted, their armor save is going to be almost non-existent, but things are looking very good for the future of the Warriors of Chaos. This Arcane Journal has brought a lot of really cool things for them. I like to see this kind of stuff happen to other armies, and I think that's fair to assume will happen. However, there's more to come. I've saved the best for last. Artifacts of the Shadowlands magic items. The following pages expand upon the common magic items found in the Warhammer the Old World rulebook. These magic items, which represent the types of artifacts commonly found in the Shadowlands, can be purchased by models in any army, in exactly the same way a common magic item as described in the Warhammer the Old World rulebook. We have new magic items for everybody, and for me personally, the fact that the Renegade Crowns have their magic item allotment just greatly expanded is awesome. So let's look at some magic weapons first. We have the Cackling Blade for 65 points. It is Strength +1, AP 1, extra attacks D6 with magical attacks. If you roll a 6 for extra attacks, you lose a wound. That to me feels slightly overcosted. That should be about a 50-point magic item. However, I'm going to use it. My Renegade Crown Prince, that's the next magic weapon I'm going to buy for him. We also have a Meteor Hammer, 50 points. It's strength user. AP 3, requires 2 hands. It's not strength slash, but requires 2 hands. And a roll of a 3+ is always successful to wound. If that was one-handed, I would love that. We have a Hell Forged Axe for 30 points. Strength +1, AP 1. Armorbane 3, flaming attacks, magical attacks. All right, let's take this into context here. It is basically a Sword of Might, but you gain 2 more Armorbane and flaming attacks, which is a negative this edition, for 10 points more. I don't know if there's ever a reason to buy a Hellforged Axe. The flaming attacks, unfortunately, is more often a buff to your opponent than is a negative, so it's a magic item that, I don't know, that's not going to exist. We have the Sword of Sorrows for 30 points, which is a range of 30. Wait, it's a sword. AP 1, Armorbane 2, magical attacks, multiple wounds 2. The Sword of Sorrows is a missile weapon. It cannot be used in combat. Okay. It's a throwing sword. No ward or regens are permitted against wounds caused by Sword of Sorrows. Okay, so we have a ranged weapon that does 2 damage. No ward, no regen. Oh, it's strength 5. I thought it was strength user. So strength. If this thing was strength 6, it would be awesome. Then we can go monster hunting with it. It's only strength 5. Let me know if you can think of a way to use the Sword of Sorrows. Either way, the magic weapons haven't been wowing me, but that's been a typical magic item thing this edition. Let's look at magic armor. The Levitating Shield is for infantry only. Okay, it's a floating shield. You can use a 2-handed weapon and get the +1 armor from a shield. Cool. Levitating Shield. It floats in front of you as you swing your great weapon around. Hey, GW's like, hey, you guys only want to bring great weapons? Fine. Here's a shield you can use as you float around. Okay, that's kind of funny. Is it worth 25 points? It's probably overcosted. The Trailblazer's Hauberk. Infantry only. It's heavy armor. You gain move through cover and scout. What if that was put on an Ogre Tyrant? Now you have a scouting Ogre Tyrant in your backfield. There might be some play with this one. Put your best idea in the chat for the Trailblazer Hauberk. We have the Talisman of Fortitude. Models whose troop type is infantry or cavalry only, the bearer is immune to multiple wounds X. If the bearer is wounded by an attack with special rule, you only suffer a single wound. Killing blow can still get them, though. I feel like there's more killing blow than multiple wounds. The Iron Hide Talisman for 30 points. Models whose troop type is infantry only. Any enemy model that makes it successful to roll to hit against the bearer with the Iron Hide Talisman during the shooting phase or combat phase must re-roll any wound rolls of a natural 6. Hey, it's Nurgle! This is going to see some play. I might put that on my scouting Ogre Tyrant. Banner of the Steadfast, 50 points. Model whose troop type is infantry only. Should a unit carrying the Banner of Steadfast belong to a losing side of combat, it can fall back in good order, even if the unit strength of the winning side is more than twice its own side. What's going to be more valuable to unit overall? More combat res, like buying the banners that give you more combat res, or buying this banner, which I guess only really comes into play if you're constantly grinding in combat and you're losing models. Totem of Wrath for 50 points. During a turn in which it charged, models with the Totem of Wrath improve the armor-piercing characteristic of their weapons by 1, and may re-roll wounds of 1. Everybody's an orc. That is really good. We're going to see the Totem of Wrath used on a lot of units moving forward. That's really good. 50 points is expensive, but it's probably worth it. Banner of the Swirling Wind, 30 points. Enemy units that wish to shoot at the banner of the ruling unit, -1 to hit. Oh yeah, we're gonna see that in play. Shut down some gunline armies, so -1 to hit. Yeah, I like that. Monster Hunter's Tapestry for 25 points. Enemy units may not make stomp attacks against units carrying the monster. I can't, you know what? I fell asleep while reading it. It's too situational. It's too situational. The Arc Lightning Rod for 40 points. Single use during the command subphase of turn. If they're not engaged in combat, the bearer can activate the rod using a unmodified leadership test. If the test is passed until your next start turn subphase, units can't fly. It's a Falcon Horn for everybody. Once per game. Potion of Fervor, 30 points, single use. During the command subphase of your turn, the bearer of the potion, you can drink it. You get D3 modifier to attack characteristics to a maximum of 10. Once per game, D3 attacks for 30 points. We got the Becalming Orb for 20 points, single use. The bearer of the Becalming Orb may cast the following balance spell with the power level of 1. It's single use, eh? You have to, it's casting value of 8, and you have to roll a 7, range self. So it's 20 points, once per game, one single use, 55% chance you even get it off. Until your next starter turn subphase, enemy wizards that are within 15 of the caster, when attempting to cast a spell, must increase the casting value by 2. You have to roll a 7 to get the 8. But for it to be of actual use to you, you have to have enemy wizards nearby, which means they're nearby to dispel it. So it's all odds are going against this actually being useful. If you can get that off, that will almost shut down enemy magic for a turn. Not complete, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that is pretty powerful if you actually get it off. All right, arcane items. The Staff of Quietude for 35 points. During the command subphase of the turn, the bearer of the Staff of Quietude can attempt to unleash the power by making a leadership test. If the test is passed, all remains in place spells are dispelled, including friendly ones. That would have been an auto-include back in the day of Pillar of Fire. We had the Scroll of Disruption for 30 points. Once per turn. Not once per game. Once per turn, the bearer of the Scroll of Disruption may re-roll the spell roll. That's good. That's good. That's like the orc item. Tome of Spellcraft for 30 points once per turn as well. The bearer of the Tome of Spellcraft may re-roll a casting roll. Also like an orc item. Okay. Those are two very good arcane items. Once per turn, the spell, or once per turn, reroll a casting roll. I think I really love the Tome of Spellcraft, but I can see both of those being. Either way, we have a bunch of new magic items for all the armies in the game, most importantly, the Renegade Crowns, and a massive bust to the Warriors of Chaos. I'm super excited for this Arcane Journal to play it out. And reminder, there is a game uploaded right now in the members only section where Dale, this is Luca, not Dale, Dale and I play a game right now where I'm going to play the Wolves of the Sea with all the cool new upgrades, toughness 5 core everywhere. But next week, Wednesday and Thursday night, 5:30 Eastern time, we're going to be live recording these for you guys to watch. He'll do one game with the Warriors of Chaos and I'll do one with the other.
I'll play Crom.
Stay tuned for that. 2 games next week. Otherwise, there is a game uploaded right now in the members only section. Check that out.